Monk glitch. The original Monk's been with us for 9 years, and here in the UK it's been one of the most popular twin tips in the industry since its launch. It's famous for taming the conditions that nothing else could. It offered range, comfort, and a level of civility in conditions that were frankly anything but. Over the last few years though, other boards from the range have crept up on it, nibbling away at its multidiscipline appeal. To that end, it looks like Mr. Shinn has decided to splice some new DNA into the old girl, and it has a brand new mould for this year. Following on from the channel tech of the last few years, the glitch sees a new hull shaping that's a subtle variation on the same theme. You'll see it here. Not channels, but a series of ridges running along the base, washing out at the tips where the board needs to flex. Ridges, and channels to a lesser extent, significantly change the water flow in ways that we didn't appreciate a few years ago. They add efficiency and liveliness, they stiffen the core of the board, as well as helping bury that heel side rail when you're powered. I personally think this last point is really important. With the generally increased loading that many of us are taking these days, spending your session curling up your toes to keep the heel side edge pinned, well, it's a chore, and a very fatiguing one at that. Boards like this, the Bronc and the ADHD, help a lot by using the energy of the water crossing the hull to push the toe side rail towards you. They are so much more comfortable to ride when you start to push hard. In the interests of fairness to the outgoing Monk, I've been testing this new board against the original, as well as the new 2020 range in general, to better appreciate how it all fits together. This board, to the eye, the rocker, outline, rail thickness, weight, and certainly stance all look the same. So I was quite surprised just how different this board actually feels. It's significantly more efficient. It feels more alive and has a lot more drive. The difference in medium power speed and upwind ability is really marked, even more so with an efficient kite. I'd say that it easily outperforms every other twin in the range at low to normal loadings. Though it's got quite a rounded outline, you can really feel that edge track and bite in the water, again aided by that ridge tech leverage. For carving and jumping, this new board has minimal side slip and almost builds energy rather than bleeding it out. It feels a lot smaller and more alive at regular power levels. I'm a big fan of the old board, but in truth this has a lot more fun to it. It allows you to rip and slash around with less power in the lines. It makes the old board, well, I guess you could say soft, and it's definitely slower and, well, it's a bit duller by comparison. You can see it in these two carving clips. Both of them are from the same session. One is a more buttery slosh, and the other, well, you can see how much more speed and drive there is. It just accelerates through the turn. So, is it better? Well, that depends on the individual rider, because, well, it does remind you of the old Monk, and it's got the same MO, but it is different. Mr. Shinn knows that rider well, and this board aims to offer a performance upgrade without tripping anyone up. The old Monk was a no-brainer, but these days there's a lot more specialism in the range. If your riding has grown to focus more on a particular riding style, then you may find yourself migrating from the old Monk to find a better fit with something else in the range, but that's why those boards exist. That said, none of the other boards can deliver such an engaging and efficient feel to everything in between. As far as mainstream riding goes, none of its siblings can match it for fun factor. It's got so much life that when you swap between all the boards, everything else, well, it does feel a little bit placid and tame. This then, I guess you could say, is the Monk that's been refined for a more digital age. It's crisper, less fuzzy underfoot, and more capable and engaging. As something that touches every aspect of all other boards in the range, it does excel in the space in between, and that's its place in the range. We think this new deck is an absolute riot, and we've had tons of fun with it so far.